With this Deshaun Watson situation, there's always been um, a level of the going back and forth. And a lot of what the Deshaun Watson stuff is based on is old things that are old wounds that have never been closed. For the Cleveland Browns, I would say coming out of 2014, 2015 into the 0-16, the 1-31 era of Hugh Jackson, I think the Cleveland Browns built up a lot of baggage, emotional baggage that has the loser mentality, the dumpster fire organization, not finding a coach, can't find a quarterback. The national media is killing you, right? And in our futility and not being able to win, we developed a lot of baggage that come along with it, right? And I think a lot of it stems from some of the bad relationships that we had that flamed out and ended poorly. One of those situations was the head coach, Hugh Jackson. He came back and sued the organization for wrongful termination. You take a look at Sashi Brown, who tore it down to the studs. You take a look at getting Baker Mayfield and us thinking that Baker was the guy. He led us to some playoff wins, one playoff win, by the way, but played very well against Kansas City. The way we had no closure with Baker Mayfield and Joe Flacco, him coming in, the offense is playing well. All these things contribute to how we view the Cleveland Browns now and how we have this discourse amongst one another. We're going to talk about that coming up here in a little bit. Take a listen to this clip. And this is something Leroy talked about a little bit here. And it's basically talking about how we went about getting Deshaun Watson and why at the beginning when we got Deshaun Watson, that is still to this day permeating everything that we talk about with the Cleveland Browns.
If I'm Deshaun Watson, I'm not talking to anybody because I don't feel it necessary for somebody to just say something happened that didn't, and now I got to respond to a person who has no importance in my life. The time and place will come, but right now, I need to fix this badass football I've been playing. And so you start addressing other things and all the things that he have to deal with right now, and it takes away from what he needs to be doing that he hasn't done since he got here. Now, I heard you guys say it's the Browns' fault. You ever been in a situation where you go to buy a house and you look at the house and you say, I think I want to make an offer. Let me chew on it a little bit. And then the realtor or the owner or whoever tells you, I got 3 other offers on the house and I'm going to decide tomorrow. And then you have to make a decision whether you want to throw your hat into the ring, maybe sooner than you thought, but you really like the house. Mm-hmm. Then you buy the house and it's a cash. You got to put a whole bunch of money into it and you're like, damn, I wish I had made a better decision. Sometimes you make a good decision that doesn't work out. The Browns weren't the only ones who wanted Deshaun Watson. What the owner did and what the Browns did was say, we're going to do what it takes to get him. Which is a good thing. If you want him, get him. It hasn't worked out.
Once again, make sure you guys go check that out. That was Leroy on. He had a bunch of great things to say. And right after he said that, Jay brought up a very good point. He said, well, listen, Leroy, but when you hire somebody to do the appraisal of the home, they tell you that the foundation is cracked. And that's a no-no. And you still went ahead and bought that house with a bad foundation, meaning that Deshaun Watson was going to be suspended. You knew he was going to be suspended, but you rolled the dice. And Leroy said, yeah. And then Jay went on to say that, and you had to give him a overpay for a contract and overpay for a quarterback in which you already knew had some flaws. And Leroy pointed out something. Yeah, because you're the Browns. And I thought that was spot on. We're acting like we don't understand what the context was around getting Deshaun Watson. People can say all they want. Hey, It's the worst contract in history. I can't believe the Browns overpaid. Well, here's the thing. When you miss in the draft, and what they said when Baker Mayfield was not offered a contract, the organization made the decision. You can argue with that or not, rightfully or wrong. And once again, I'm down to argue football speak. The organization made the decision that they missed on the first overall pick. When you miss on the first overall pick, people get fired. During that draft, you could have got Josh Rosen, you could have got Sam Darnold, you could have got Baker Mayfield, you could have got Lamar Jackson, and you could have got Josh Allen. 3 of those people missed. The Jets, the Browns, and the Cardinals missed. The Bills and Lamar Jackson hit it big time. The Bills and the Ravens hit it big time. Not debatable. So when you miss, you have to go back, and you are going to overpay. If you buy a car and that car is not is a car that you overpaid for, or a car that you thought you was going to get, and the engine blows out in it, guess what? You're going to have to overpay to get either that fixed or buy another car. I've just been here. I've been there. So missing has consequences. And as Leroy pointed out, Deshaun Watson was not the only team. You could believe that it's always funny that people are like, oh, the Browns were the only ones. No, it wasn't. There was a list of teams that were willing to give up the picks, that were willing to get Deshaun Watson, and only the $234 million did it. Now, you can say, hey, it didn't work out. Sometimes you make a move, and I would rather my owners be aggressive. At the time, I would make the move, and rightfully so, they should have made the move. However, the person that they traded for looks like it's not the person they got. And so I ask you, as fans, you got to understand something, man. If you liked Baker and you loved Baker, and you're watching Baker every week and he's putting up points and yards, all you're doing is torturing yourself, man. That's all you're doing. If you love Baker and you loved what he brought to the table, and you thought he had moxie, and you thought it was refreshing that he was confident and slightly cocky at times, you loved him for beating the Steelers, you loved his attitude, you loved his backstory. It's the same thing that people doing right now, wasting the rest of their lives looking at their exes on Facebook. Look at her over there. That guy, she's with that guy. Why are you wasting your time looking at your ex on Facebook? She's not coming back. Y'all broke up for a reason. You didn't break up because guess what? That y'all was so great together, and that everything was happily ever after. You broke up for a reason. We've all been there when you think of the good memories. You think about the times that things were going well. You think about the vacations. You think about the honeymoons. But you don't think about the bad times and how it was when he left, right? And I wish Baker all the best of luck in the world. I'm not like other people who, listen, good for him. He put his career back on. He's playing good football with the Buccaneers. And I salute him because I believe in the game of football, and I love guys that put it back together. But he ain't coming back, man. And I think it's funny that people talk about Flacco. I was the one who wanted Flacco. Nobody wanted Flacco. We'll go rewind the tape. They wanted DTR to play. Everybody on the panel, we don't need Flacco. It don't fit. DTR. I said, give me Flaccavelli. I gave him his nickname. I was the one who said he was going to throw for 300, 6 straight games. That was this guy. And I was correct. You know what I mean? Kool-Aid Mafia shirts I sold off of Flaccavelli himself. And Joe Flacco did a brilliant job. He captured the hearts and soul of the Browns fans. But guess what, man? Joe Flacco was never coming back here because Joe Flacco wasn't going to sign up to be behind Deshaun Watson anyway. I asked him point blank, you feel like you one of the best 32 people, quarterbacks on this planet? He said yes. And Joe Flacco has always had a problem with saying, and rightfully so, he should feel like this way. I'm not going to play behind you knowing that I feel like I could compete. That's not what the backup job role is. The backup job role is a support role. Whether you like it or not, people, I'm just giving you the real. It ain't the fact that G. Bush is he's living and dying with Deshaun Watson. I'm gonna just give y'all a little heads up. There's a lot of people in the black community right now that might be upset with G. Bush because G. Bush actually said Deshaun Watson was playing like crap. You think I care? No, I don't care about none of that. You know why? Because I'm married to the game. I played this game longer and dedicated more of my life than playing in this game than I have sitting in this seat giving an opinion. And I refuse to compromise what I know about the game and what I see on film for anybody. That goes for people that like Deshaun Watson or don't like him, or Baker Mayfield or do like him. There is no compromise. I'm looking at what I'm seeing. I don't eat birthday cake with nobody. So y'all can cut all that. He's going to die on a hill with Deshaun Watson. He's going to do. No, listen to the words coming out of my mouth. I keep it 100. I work for nobody. I don't got sources. You know, my sources, I tell people I can't come to your events. You know why? I might have to tell you, you suck sometimes. That's how we give it up. But here's the reality. At some point, we're going to have to give up the culture wars. We went through them with Odell versus Baker. Then we went through it again when we had, hey, which is it? Is it Jarvis? Jarvis, hey, we liked you while you was here. You should have took over your boy. Everybody that we got come in that leave out, it's a problem. Baker Mayfield, we know we don't even have to document that. Joe Flacco, we don't have to document that. And we sure as heck don't have to document Deshaun Watson. Here's the point. Those guys ain't working through that room. They're not. And it's game one. Is Deshaun Watson playing well? No. But I refuse to talk about every single week doing, what's the name watch? Scoreboard watch, trying to figure out something that the Browns have already made a decision on. We can sit here all game, every single game, and say it's the worst trade in history, and you're going to waste a whole 2024 years saying it. Or you can watch the games, root for your team, hope that Deshaun Watson plays well. If he doesn't, say he ain't playing well, or say, how are we going to fix him not playing well, or do something. But I'm telling you right now, and this is heading into the last segment, I am not going to play schedule watch. I'm not going to play none of that watch game. I'm not going to be talking about figuring out quarterbacks or trades for Joe Flacco that ain't coming true, because the organization, Kevin Stefanski, and the people that are cutting the checks are behind Deshaun Watson. It is what it is. You can agree on it. I can agree on it. Guess what? Just like it was when Baker, he got the whole year. He's going to get 17 games, barring the fact that if he doesn't get suspended or he doesn't get hurt. It's up to you how to handle that.